Mr. Chairman, Chief Guest, Professor Amarad Joshi, special guests, and everyone on the podium here. Well, good morning, first of all. What I have been doing is listening to you all, trying to listen to you all. As I sat there, I forgot everything I wanted to say today. It's been almost 2 hours. So sitting for 2 hours at a stretch was good in a way because it deleted everything from my mind. So I will start afresh, right? I want to, first of all, thank the Village of English Writers in Chitwan for inviting me here, for giving me this opportunity to accept the honor that the Village of English Writers is giving to my father, late LAXMI PRASAD DEVKOTA. So thank you very much for that. And Ishwar Kadel must receive a special thanks for this. And he is right. He is right in the sense that this is the first time that a literary award has been given to someone who has written in English in Nepal. That is another plus point. Well, there were other societies of Nepali writers before this, but they were not so interested in prizes as they were in poetry. Well, that also is good enough because it's important to encourage people to write, encourage people to become creative, no matter to what extent they can. We all have creativity. And when we start writing, we have to carve our own path. And how far we reach, how large a thought we create is up to us. It depends upon our personality, it depends upon our endurance, our patience, and probably on our intelligence as well. This morning I've been listening to very erudite speeches on literary writing in English. I have no desire to participate in all that argument about, whether this is Nepali or Nepalese literary writing in English. I am a Nepali. Ishwar Kadel should be able to advise me. When I speak English, if I sound like I'm speaking British English, fine. But if I don't, if I sound like I'm speaking Nepali English, no problem. Because Nepali English is international English. So today there is British English, there's American English, there's international English. I guess so long as I make myself clear to you, fine. If communication is established, fine. In the time of Devkota, English language was something that had already started probably almost a century ago, around 1825. But the love of English language started in the palaces. not at the public level. Later on, when Darbar High School was opened, the public also got to learn English, and one of the reasons they learned English was they were able to study other subjects, especially the science subjects, with greater ease. We don't have science subjects in Nepali. Well, I remember reading an essay by L.P. Devkota called Hai Hai Angrezi, in which he makes several interesting points. I don't have to go through all of them. But one of the things he says is, if I had not written in Nepali as well, if I had used only English to express myself, I would have become an absolute donkey. Right? So on the one hand, he says that. On the other hand, he appreciates the English language and says, English means bread and butter for all of us. Because there are many people who wanted to learn English. And someone who knew English had the possibility of running around giving tuition to rich men's sons. And the more sons and daughters they produced, the better it was. Seriously. So he appreciates that fact. And he also appreciates the fact that English means jobs, better jobs, higher posts, and prestige in the society. English was basically a prestige language in his time. So, in our family, my father's eldest brother, Padma Devkota, had matriculated in English and was giving tuitions to other people and making a lot of money to support the family. So for L.P. Devkota, what happened is he became a role model. The father and mother and probably a few others were planning to teach him Sanskrit. They wanted to give him a Sanskrit education. But then it was Padma Devkota, his eldest brother, who insisted upon the fact that his younger brother study English. Okay? And finally, that is exactly what happened. Now, what happens is, Amarnath Joshi has already presented this issue in his talk previously. What happens is, if you learn a language, what happens? Number one, you want to use that language somewhere to communicate. Number two, when you learn a language, you also learn the culture of the people of that language, and you cannot escape that. Right? You cannot escape that. So obviously, learning English language meant using it somewhere for communication and feeling the burden of the English culture vis-a-vis the real life situations of the Kathmandu culture. For a person like me, what happens is, and Keshav Sigdel knows that very well, what happens is, You say, I don't speak Nepali. I've forgotten how to speak Nepali. And after I left the academic environment, I forgot how to speak English. You see? Problem, big problem. I tried writing in English. There was a burden of English culture on the one hand. There was a burden of Nepali culture on the other hand. But I stood there like a donkey in between two haystacks, trying to decide which haystack to attack first. This is the problem. That did not happen to Devkota.
Oh.
He was easily able to switch from one haystack to the other. And that is why he succeeded. And that, I think, is a very good lesson for many people here if you want to write in English. Continue writing in English, but write in Nepali too. Write in your native language too. If you don't do that, you get stuck with one only, well, you may succeed up to a point. Let's not digress into that. I could talk about that a little bit more, but let's not digress into that. So what did Devkota do? When he was in college, he started writing for the college papers. And one of the earliest poems in English that he wrote, which I've found up to this time, is titled To the Moon. It's about 2 stanzas only, but it's written originally in English. And it has been published in Trichandra campuses, Jaipur, and reproduced by Dr. Hari Sharma in Mahakavi. That, I think, is one of the earliest English writing by Devkota. After that, he continued producing so much. We all know he is a very prolific writer. He continued producing so much, it's difficult to remember everything he wrote. The Lunatic and Other Poems is something we all have seen, I guess. The epic Shakuntala in English, many people think it's a translation. No, it's not a translation. It is originally written in English. That's Shakuntala. He wrote, for instance, the Ballad of Luni is a long narrative poem. He wrote it originally in English, but after having written it in Nepali. So we have the Ballad of Luni, where the content of the Nepali long narrative is the same, but the language is different. Right? And then he wrote, for instance, Bapu and Other Sonnets when he was in Calcutta. That was almost immediately after the assassination of Mahatma Gandhi. And he had actually written around 49 sonnets, but we don't have all of them. Whatever we have has been collected in Bapu and Other Sonnets.